In November 2016, a year preceding the events portrayed in the Jujutsu Kaisen anime series, the narrative unfolds within the confines of a Tokyo high school. The focal point is 16-year-old Yuta Okkotsu, who becomes the target of bullying perpetrated by 4 graduating seniors on the very day of their graduation. In a state of isolation and overwhelming fear, Yuta implores the aggressors to cease their torment. The situation escalates when one of the seniors issues a death threat against him, prompting Yuta to desperately invoke the name Rika. This summoning brings forth a cursed spirit from the walls, inflicting severe injuries upon the bullies and effectively shielding Yuta from harm. The entire sequence of events is meticulously chronicled in a log dedicated to cataloging manifestations of cursed spirits. Against the backdrop of a torrential downpour, Yuta, burdened with remorse, repeatedly utters apologies while the blood of the injured students seeps from a closet, marking a haunting aftermath. In the subsequent scene, Yuta finds himself confined in detention while Satoru Gojo engages in a deliberation regarding his destiny with the Jujutsu Council. Gojo contends that executing the boy is unwarranted, emphasizing that Yuta had control over the curse and willingly allowed its manifestation. Displaying immense power, Yuta not only turns the tables on 3 Grade 2 sorcerers but also confronts a Grade 1 sorcerer, a prowess that led to his placement under Gojo's supervision. After careful consideration, Gojo determines that Yuta will be enrolled at Tokyo's Jujutsu High. During a conversation with Yuta, Gojo references a deformed knife he stumbled upon. Yuta discloses that he attempted to use the knife to end his own life, but Rika intervened, preventing him from doing so. In response, Gojo casually drops the knife and informs Yuta of his immediate enrollment in a new school. However, Yuta vehemently refuses, expressing a reluctance to cause harm to others, vowing never to venture outside again. Gojo, perceptive and insightful, suggests that such isolation would lead to loneliness. Expanding on the potential of the curse afflicting Yuta, Gojo explains that its power can be harnessed for the purpose of saving people, depending on how it is wielded. He imparts a directive to Yuta, urging him to acquire the skills necessary to master and channel that unique power. In the opening sequence, Yuta awakens and adorns himself in the attire of a Jujutsu High student, sporting a necklace with a concealed ring beneath his school uniform. His rendezvous with Gojo sets the stage for the unfolding events. As first-year students Maki Zenin, Toji Inu Maki, and Panda traverse their way to class, they engage in discussion about the recent incident involving the new transfer student. Panda clarifies that the students involved were gravely injured but not fatally harmed. Maki, resolute, declares her intention to address the situation, while Inu Maki, in his characteristic style, utters seemingly unrelated phrases like tuna mayo and bonito flakes. With palpable enthusiasm, Gojo introduces Yuta to the class, yet the response from the students is less than enthusiastic, as evidenced by comments from Maki and Inu Maki. Sensing the prevailing mood, Yuta hesitates upon entering the room. The presence of Rika becomes immediately apparent to the first-year sorcerers, prompting them to spring into action, trapping Yuta against the chalkboard before he can even introduce himself. Maki admonishes Yuta for attending Jujutsu High with a cursed spirit. Gojo explains that a staggering 10,000 mysterious deaths occur in Japan each year due to curses, which manifest from the negative emotions of individuals. Some of these cases involve malicious actions instigated by curse users. Jujutsu High serves as an institution where select individuals are trained to exorcise these curses. The revelation that Yuta is only now discovering this fact leaves all students astounded. Gojo issues a swift warning for the students to keep their distance, highlighting the formidable power of Yuta's curse. Briefly emerging, Rika cautions against bullying Yuta. In a retrospective sequence, we are transported to Sendai City, Miyagi Prefecture, where a 10-year-old Yuta shares moments with his childhood friend Rika Orimoto. On Yuta's birthday, Rika gifts him the ring now adorning his neck, describing it as an engagement ring symbolizing their future marriage. The joyous occasion takes a tragic turn when Rika is struck and killed by a car on the same day. Yuta, witnessing the horrifying event, is haunted by the curse of Rika grabbing his legs, a spectral promise of marriage in their adulthood. Fast-forwarding to the present, Gojo imparts a warning to the first-year students, cautioning that any mistreatment of Yuta will incur lethal consequences from Rika. The students, having experienced the repercussions of Rika's manifestation, comply with fear. Gojo proceeds to introduce the class to Yuta, providing brief insights into the unique abilities of Maki Zenin, a cursed tool user skilled in weaponry, Toji Inu Maki, a cursed speech user who communicates solely through rice ball ingredients to avoid unintentional curses, and Panda, a conscious being infused with cursed energy known as a corpse. Despite Gojo's introduction, both Yuta and Maki harbor individual reservations about his teaching approach. Gojo pairs Yuta with Maki for an afternoon assignment, much to her displeasure. During their journey, Yuta attempts small talk, but Maki confronts him about his past bullying. She analyzes Yuta's situation where Rika has shielded him, yet he perceives himself as a victim. Maki cautions him that success at Jujutsu High demands a defined goal. The conversation is interrupted by Panda and Inu Maki, leading to Maki's abrupt departure. While Panda apologizes for Maki's behavior and Inu Maki concurs, Yuta, reflective, acknowledges the validity of Maki's perspective. Guided by Gojo, the duo embarks on a mission to an elementary school where two missing children are believed to have fallen victim to a curse. Maki enlightens Yuta about the prevalence of negative emotions in places like schools and hospitals, acting as breeding grounds for curses. The accumulation of these emotions can give rise to curses. Gojo lays out their task: retrieve the children, whether alive or deceased. To enhance their abilities, Gojo unveils a veil, rendering them invisible to the human world while on their quest. Offering a final piece of advice to avoid death, Gojo swiftly closes the veil, leaving Yuta to witness Maki engaging multiple low-grade curses in battle. As Maki effortlessly dispatches the curses, she enlightens Yuta on the tendency of weaker curses to congregate, akin to weaker individuals. Impressed by her prowess, Yuta follows her into the school. Inside, Yuta, feeling frightened, attempts conversation with Maki using the term Ms. Zenin. Maki sternly warns against using her family name but answers his inquiries. Despite the presence of numerous low-grade curses in the school, they seem to be in hiding and show no signs of attack. Maki speculates whether this behavior is influenced by Yuta and Rika. Curious about Yuta's ranking, she is astonished when he has no recollection of being ranked. Frustrated, she refers to Gojo as the dumb blindfolded guy and requests Yuta's student ID. Surprisingly, Yuta's ID designates him as a special grade, surpassing even a grade 1. Initially perplexed, Maki's contemplation is cut short as they encounter a colossal curse, leading to a destructive impact that blows out a section of the building. Attempting to counter the curse with her weapon, Maki is disarmed and both are consumed by the curse, uttering the unsettling phrase, "Thanks for the meal," as Maki's weapon falls onto the school roof. Within the confines of the curse's stomach, Maki vents her frustration for losing her tool, prompting a shocked Yuta to be reminded of their swallowed predicament. Yuta confesses his ignorance regarding the summoning of Rika. Despite Maki assuring him that help will arrive once the veil drops, she remains upset about their circumstances. Their attention is drawn to a cry for help, leading them to discover the two afflicted children, one unconscious and both impacted by the curse. When Yuta seeks guidance on how to assist, Maki attempts to convey that not everyone can resist cursed energy as he can, but then she faints. Observing the curse manifesting in Maki, Yuta faces a plea for help from the child. While Yuta initially expresses his inability to assist, Maki regains consciousness, demanding an explanation. Yuta reveals that his motivation for attending Jujutsu High is rooted in a desire to prevent harm to others. Having concurred with Gojo that isolating himself would lead to loneliness, Yuta aspires to be indispensable to others, seeking confidence in leading a meaningful life. Maki advises him to engage in the continuous exorcism of curses, assuring him that confidence and companionship will follow suit, a principle upheld at Jujutsu High. As Maki collapses to the ground, she unveils Yuta's necklace with the ring, prompting him to put it on. Seeking strength, Yuta asks Rika for help, and in an instant Rika mercilessly tears apart the curse. From the vantage point outside the veil, Gojo witnesses the destructive spectacle and acknowledges the truly terrifying nature of Rika's curse. Reveling in her fully manifested power, Rika enables Yuta to carry Maki and the children toward the veil. As his strength wanes, a vision of Rika in her child form appears, urging Yuta to persevere. With the vision's encouragement, Yuta manages to reach the exterior just as the veil is dropped. Gojo commends Yuta for a successful mission. Subsequently, at the hospital, Gojo inquires why Yuta doesn't seem content with the prospect of Maki and the children making a full recovery. Yuta gazes at the ring on his finger and reveals that it was the first time he could voluntarily summon Rika. Gojo praises Yuta for progressing in understanding his power. A fleeting moment prompts Yuta's recollection of meeting Rika in the hospital during shared walks, leading to their close friendship and playful interactions in the playground. Reflecting on Rika's proposal of marriage, Yuta reevaluates his understanding and suggests the possibility that he may have cursed Rika, not the other way around. Gojo proposes his own theory: there is no curse more convoluted than love. Determined, Yuta pledges to break Rika's curse during his time at Jujutsu High, eliciting a smile from Gojo. Returning to the elementary school, a man retrieves Yuta's student ID, dropped during the encounter with the curse, setting the stage for unforeseen developments. Once again, Gojo faces the reprimands of the council, this time for permitting Yuta to fully manifest the Rika curse. Without offering excuses, Gojo asserts that he would have risked his life to safeguard the students if the situation spiraled out of control. Puzzled by the formidable power of Rika, who lacks any lineage of Jujutsu sorcerers, Gojo says that they have to release Rika if they want to learn how to control it. The council serves as a reminder that Yuta's execution has merely been postponed, to which Gojo emphatically declares his allegiance to Yuta if it comes to that. Approaching the track, Gojo reflects on the antiquated methods of the council, asserting that youth should not be sacrificed. Transitioning from sunglasses to a gray blindfold, he observes Yuta running alongside Inu, Maki, and Maki, who outpace him. Leading Yuta to the armory, Gojo imparts insights into the challenging task of exorcising a powerful curse like Rika. He explains the intricate nature of cursed energy, likening it to thousands of knots within each curse that must be unraveled one by one. This unraveling, Gojo emphasizes, falls upon Yuta, the one cursed by Rika. Providing Yuta with a katana, Gojo explains the process of infusing Rika's cursed energy into the blade, akin to the imbued energy within the ring. Through repetitive practice, Yuta can gain mastery over Rika's cursed energy using the katana, ultimately achieving freedom for both. Additionally, Gojo explains the necessity for Yuta to acquire proficiency in swordsmanship to properly wield the katana, marking the commencement of his training. Yuta engages in a practice duel with Maki, wielding a wooden sword against her, while Panda and Inu Maki observe. Despite Yuta's strength, Maki's superior speed and agility become evident. She strategically lands a blow when Gojo unintentionally distracts Yuta, ultimately bringing him down. Inquiring about the necessity of such brutality in practice, Yuta receives a stern response from Maki, emphasizing the importance of treating it like a real battle. Maki asserts that experiencing pain influences the speed of one's growth. Undeterred, Yuta rises and challenges her once again. During a discussion between Panda and Gojo about Yuta's development over the past 3 months at Jujutsu High, Inu Maki agrees. Panda, noticing changes in Maki's behavior, realizes she hasn't sparred with another weapon user. In a quirky turn of events, Panda asks Yuta about his preference regarding the size of a woman's breasts. Yuta says he likes them big. Panda excitedly conveys to Maki that she has a chance, which made her angry. Confused by the commotion, Yuta turns to Inu Maki for an explanation, only to receive a cryptic response, kelp. Concerned about Inumaki's reserved nature and unconventional communication style, Yuta starts to worry about his character. Gojo returns with an assignment specifically for Inu Maki, revealing that he has been requested. Panda informs Yuta that Inu Maki, as the only grade 2 sorcerer among the first years, is allowed to go on missions alone. Impressed by Inumaki's status, Yuta remains unaware of his own special grade power. Gojo assigns Yuta to accompany Inu Maki in observing the use of cursed speech as a means of exorcising curses, emphasizing the importance of understanding curses to break them. While waiting for their assignment, Inu Maki unintentionally startles Yuta with a greeting. Gojo humorously warns Yuta not to release Rika and to only use the power imbued into the sword, stating that unleashing Rika would lead to their demise. Shocked by Gojo's lighthearted approach, Yuta accompanies Inu Maki on the mission, driven away to face the challenges ahead. Yuta and Inu Maki find themselves in the Hapaina shopping district, a mostly deserted area marked for demolition to make way for a new mall. Kiyotaka Ijichi provides a briefing on the assignment, explaining that numerous low-grade curses have been detected in the shopping center, and Inu Maki has been enlisted to exorcise them. When Yuta observes Inumaki's sudden absence, he reappears from a corner store with a small bottle of throat spray. Ijichi underscores the critical need to eliminate the curses to prevent the mall from opening with their infestation, wishes them luck, and draws a veil. Yuta and Inu Maki embark on a quest to locate the curses. They come across a group of curses morphed into a school of talking fish, converging into a vortex. Recalling Maki's advice about weaker curses grouping Inumaki, Yuta deems it challenging to eliminate such a multitude in one go. Inu Maki unveils the tribal markings on his face and tongue as he utters the command, explode. Instantaneously, all curses burst simultaneously and collapse. Yuta queries if that fulfills their task, and Inumaki, in his scratchy voice, responds with tuna mayo. Yuta grasps the significance of the throat spray, acknowledging Inumaki's impressive power while understanding the associated cost. However, their suspicions arise as the veil fails to drop and a formidable curse materializes behind them, unbeknownst to the duo. Inumaki endeavors to break the curse's left hand by invoking Twist, but the strain overwhelms him, leading to his collapse. Yuta intervenes to protect Inumaki from the curse's attack, carrying him away and inadvertently dropping the throat spray in the process. Contemplating their predicament, Yuta discerns that they must exorcise the more potent curse to lower the veil. Despite Inumaki's attempt to face the challenge alone, Yuta, appreciating Inumaki's honesty, graciously declines and wholeheartedly joins him in the ensuing battle. Armed with Rika's cursed energy imbued into the blade, Yuta skillfully evades the curse's attacks while reflecting on Inumaki's unique power and the reason behind his use of rice ball ingredients in speech to avoid uttering words that carry curses. Retrieving the fallen throat spray, Yuta, even as he takes hits from the curse, tosses it to Inumaki. Inumaki promptly consumes the spray and commands the curse get crushed, affecting its complete exorcism. Yuta and Inumaki celebrate their shared triumph with a triumphant high five. Yuta contemplates the prospect of breaking Rika's curse, pondering whether it might render him an ordinary person with no reason to remain at Jujutsu High. Driven by a desire to be of service to everyone, their attention returns to the persistently raised veil. Meanwhile, from a distance, the enigmatic man encountered at the elementary school reflects on his anticipation of witnessing the Rika curse, revealing himself to be special grade as well. The curses in his vicinity present Yuta's earlier found ID card, and the man expresses the need to return it to Yuta. While Inumaki tends to the school's plants, Panda engages Yuta in a more in-depth discussion about Inumaki's unique ability. Inumaki was born with cursed speech, a condition that occasionally led him to unintentionally curse people during his childhood. Recognizing a similar predicament in Yuta, Inumaki has harbored concerns about him since his transfer. Panda requests Yuta to treat Inumaki kindly, a request that surprises Yuta as he had no intention of doing otherwise. Maki interrupts the conversation, calling Yuta away for training, prompting Panda to playfully comment on her evident flirtations. Yuta attempts to divert the attention by seeking Maki's guidance on infusing Rika's cursed energy into the katana. Surprisingly, Maki seemed upset about Yuta's inquiry, leaving him shocked. Meanwhile, at the shopping district, Gojo receives a report on the remaining curses after Inumaki and Yuta's efforts. Investigating personally, Gojo detects a distinct scent and observes extensive property damage. He recalls Ajichi's mention of a second veil dropping on top of the initial one, realizing that the stronger curse exorcised by Inumaki and Yuta was semi-grade 1. Acknowledging the oversight in preparation, Ajichi scolds himself, but Gojo dismisses it, attributing the outcome to being outmatched. Ajichi queries Gojo about identifying the perpetrator behind the incident. In a classroom, the enigmatic figure stands before 3 banners bearing the inscriptions "Love to the Strong," "Punishment to the Weak," and "Death to Fools." Gojo provides narration identifying him as Sigura Geto, a special grade curse user who faced expulsion from Jujutsu High alongside 3 others for cursing over 100 ordinary people to death. Gojo labels him as the worst curse user. At Geto's residence, a woman anxiously awaits an audience with him, accompanied by her mother. Seated on a small stool, Geto listens as the woman details her problem. Despite her inability to perceive the curse tormenting her physically, Geto successfully removes it, transforming it into a small sphere that he captures in his hand. The relieved woman expresses her gratitude and departs with her mother. However, as they leave, Geto derogatorily refers to them as stupid monkeys, incapable of utilizing jujitsu.
An overgrown monkey!
His assistant cautions him about his arrogance and reminds him of a scheduled meeting with leaders. Before entering, Geto nonchalantly sprays deodorant to combat the lingering monkey smell. Inside, as he joyfully follows his assistant, they encounter a frustrated customer dissatisfied with Geto's supposedly failed exorcism of his curse. Confirming the customer's substantial payment of over 105 million yen without any donations for 6 months, Geto dismissively characterizes him as a money-collecting monkey with no further use now that he's run out of funds. Consuming the previously manifested sphere, Geto snaps his fingers, prompting a group of small curses to assail the man's face until blood splatters on the wall. Expressing his disgust, Geto turns to his assistant, emphasizing that this is why he refers to them as monkeys. Proceeding into a room, Geto meets with the leaders, a group of his own disciples with whom he intends to establish a paradise for Jujutsu sorcerers, commencing with a declaration of war against Jujutsu High. At the school, Yuta experiences a foreboding sensation, but his classmates dismiss it while Gojo and Principal Masamichi Yaga observe. Assuring the principal that it was Sugura Geto, Gojo prompts an angered departure from the principal, who commands all senior sorcerers to assemble at the front. Maki, Panda, and Inumaki realize Yuta's intuition was correct as they witness a curse resembling a four-winged pelican delivering Geto and his gang. Geto swiftly approaches Yuta, attempting to enlist him to his cause, but Gojo, accompanied by the principal and others, intervenes. Provoking Maki by labeling her as her clan's failure, Geto incites her displeasure. Warning her that his envisioned world doesn't require monkeys like her, Yuta decides not to align with someone who insults his friends. Geto attempts an apology but is cut off by Gojo, demanding an explanation for his presence. Geto announces to the school that on December 24th, he and his gang will execute the night parade of 100 demons in Shinjuku, Tokyo, and Kyoto. Threatening the students with curses once more, Geto departs with the group. In a flashback, Geto shares his vision for Jujutsu sorcerers as protectors of non-sorcerers, a philosophy that Gojo deems unrighteous. In a crowded scene, Geto questions whether Gojo is the strongest because he's Satoru Gojo or if he's Satoru Gojo because he's the strongest. Suggesting that if he were as strong as Gojo, his ideals would lose their righteousness, Geto opts to forge his own path. Gojo gestures in his direction as he walks away. Subsequently, Ijichi delivers a comprehensive report on Geto, unveiling his operation structured as a quasi-religious organization aimed at curing individuals of curses. The report draws a correlation between his potential strength and the diminishing trend in reported curses in recent years. Ijichi confirms the likelihood of Geto possessing over 2,000 curses as previously warned during his visit. Yaga speculates that the curses must predominantly be weak for Geto to amass such a number, estimating the possible allegiance of up to 50 sorcerers on Geto's side. Despite concerns, Gojo questions why Geto would initiate a conflict he couldn't win. In response, Yaga issues a call for assistance to all alumni, the three major clans, and the Ainu Jujutsu Society. Meanwhile, Geto derisively laughs while mocking the principal's reaction to his team. On December 24th, Geto strategically dispatches teams to Shinjuku, Tokyo, and Kyoto to distract sorcerers while he confronts Yuta without protection at the school. His plan revolves around eliminating Yuta and acquiring Rika, a special grade curse that would significantly tip the odds in his favor. Even if Rika isn't bound to Yuta, Geto believes he possesses enough power to absorb her after dispatching her host, akin to his absorption of the cursed spirit afflicting the young woman earlier. Effortlessly overcoming the guards at Jujutsu High, Geto sets the stage for a confrontation with Yuta and Maki as they make the most of their time. Maki confides in Yuta about her background, hailing from the powerful Zenin clan renowned for their prowess as Jujutsu sorcerers. Despite her lineage, Maki reveals her inability to see curses without her glasses and her incapacity to imbue cursed energy into her tools. Despite these limitations, she managed to secure a place at Jujutsu High, distancing herself from her detested clan homeland. Yuta reflects on the moments when she turned down his inquiries, realizing that Maki's true passion lies in Jujutsu sorcery even if she claims to do it merely to defy her family. Impressed by her determination, Yuta commends her strength and resilience. Maki recalls a past incident where her mother belittled her in front of the clan, and Yuta's compliment genuinely touches her, though she masks her gratitude by feigning admonishment. As she leaves the room, Yuta's laughter accompanies her, and Maki blushes, cautioning herself not to interpret it as acceptance. Meanwhile, Geto envelopes Jujutsu High in a veil while multiple curses descend upon the cities. Gojo encounters a challenge from Miguel, a cursed rope user, and learns of Miguel's plan to stall sorcerers in the cities until Geto acquires Rika by killing Yuta. Maki confronts Geto in the yard, initiating a challenge. Gojo, noticing Geto's absence, speculates if he might be in another city. Ijichi arrives with a report on Yuta's investigation, prompting Gojo to urgently send Inu, Maki, and Panda back to the school to aid Yuta. He assures them he will join after dealing with the foreigner. As Gojo teleports Inu, Maki, and Panda, Miguel and Manami recognize that he has unraveled their plan. Manami summons twins Kamiko and Nanako to engage, emerging from a curse's mouth as Miguel issues a challenge to Gojo. Gojo unveils his cursed eyes beneath the blindfold, declaring his urgency. Inumaki and Panda materialize outside the veil and descend towards it. Geto, walking through Maki's blood, notices a breach in his veil. Underestimating their speed, Geto is attacked by Panda in gorilla form, giving his all. Although Geto impales Panda with Maki's staff, he misses his soul, allowing Panda to survive. As Panda falls, Inumaki emerges, invoking the curse plummet. Geto's body is crushed into the training ground, causing Inumaki to cough up blood. Panda rushes to Maki, who is still alive. Geto reappears with another attack. Yuta, hearing the commotion, thinks it's another earthquake. Geto walks around the unconscious bodies of Maki, Inumaki, and Panda, Panda's arms mangled. He admires fellow Jujutsu sorcerers protecting Yuta, aligning with his envisioned world of Jujutsu sorcerers. Yuta arrives with his katana, seeing his classmates laid out. Inumaki whispers run away as Geto continues his monologue. Enraged, Yuta summons Rika, fully manifesting her for the second time. Geto and Yuta exchange threats. Geto sends low-grade curses, but Yuta takes them out with his katana while Rika gathers the other students. Yuta heals his friends on a terrace and Rika shakes Maki, accusing her of Yuta's misery. Yuta tells Rika to treat Maki with care. Rika notices Geto and asks if Yuta hates him. Yuta admits, "I loathe him." Rika promises to fight Geto with Yuta. Geto scolds Yuta for taking his eyes off the battle and sends a swarm of centipede curses. Yuta materializes a cursed speech megaphone with the Inumaki clan mark, calling out the curse, "Die." All curses sent by Geto are eliminated. Geto marvels at Yuta's ability to use cursed speech with less than a year of study. Yuta realizes the difficulty of cursed speech, deepening his admiration for Inumaki. Geto desires to absorb Rika, and Yuta threatens to beat him to a pulp. In Tokyo, a group of sorcerers collaborates to exorcise numerous curses plaguing the city. Meimei celebrates her 50th curse elimination, mentally keeping track for her full bonus. Ijichi encounters teenagers Mimiko and Nanako, who share their abusive past in an obscure village. Ijichi tries to dissuade them, but they recall Geto rescuing them from their village as children, leading to their radicalization before puberty. Before the story unfolds, the fight between Miguel and Gojo interrupts. Gojo struggles against the unusual curse in Miguel's rope, disrupting his infinity technique. Miguel, with half his rope remaining, attempts to stall Gojo by discussing the time it took for people in his country to make it. Gojo dismisses him, effortlessly dispelling a giant approaching curse. The massive explosion clarifies Gojo's space-time manipulation technique, powered by his unique eyes. Miguel continues the fight, while Dr. Yeri acknowledges the orchestrated chaos by Geto. At Jujutsu High, Geto remarks that Yuta's anger likely fills his body with cursed energy, enhancing his senses and potentially inducing feelings of omnipotence. He equips himself with a 3-part staff for hand-to-hand combat against Yuta. Whispering to Rika to follow his lead, Yuta engages Geto. Geto questions the human tendency to invent powerful beings like gods despite the existence of Jujutsu sorcerers without widespread belief. Yuta, accompanied by Rika, confronts Geto. Geto remarks on how monkeys tend to avert their eyes from those superior to them. Yuta admonishes him for speaking like a child who desires godhood. Geto envisions a world for the chosen, expressing disdain for weak humans who oppress the strong in sheer numbers. Rika comforts Yuta, who reassures her of his determination to continue fighting. Yuta attacks Geto, who observes his increased speed. Geto breaks Yuta's katana, criticizing him for hastily imbuing cursed energy instead of doing so gradually. Yuta interrupts Geto's lecture with a punch to the face, throwing him to the ground. Despite the beating, Geto remains impressed and not fully defeated. Yuta expresses his inability to comprehend Geto's motivation. He admits his limited knowledge of Jujutsu confined to what he's learned within the school. Yuta emphasizes that, in order to remain with his friends and find purpose in his existence, he must eliminate Geto. Geto dismisses Yuta's assertion as egotistical but acknowledges the importance of self-affirmation. He reveals that only 4 individuals hold the special grade title, contrasting with the 16 curses. Geto summons a potential special grade apparition, Tamamonome Incarnate, and plans to combine its power with the 4,461 curses he already possesses. He strikes Yuta with this formidable force, initiating the spell Cursed Spirit Manipulation, Supreme Art, Maelstrom. In Kyoto, Kento Nanami arrives to deal with a curse responsible for killing numerous Jujutsu sorcerers. As more curses assail him, Nanami skillfully defends himself, employing his 7-to-3 ratio technique to eliminate the final one. Meanwhile, Kyoto Jujutsu school students collaborate to exterminate the remaining curses, all while Tadu's favorite star, Takada, makes an appearance on a live holiday special. At Jujutsu High, Geto expresses satisfaction that he arrived to confront Yuta before he could fully harness Rika's power. Yuta reflects on his time with Rika, recognizing the genuine love that existed between them. Grateful for her protection over the past 6 years, Yuta thanks Rika and asks for her power one last time to thwart Geto. He pledges everything to her, showing their ring as a symbol of his love. Though the act is implied off-screen, Rika becomes furious, revealing an eye as she declares her love for Yuta. Geto interprets Yuta's action as a sacrifice to unleash Rika's full cursed energy, branding Yuta a womanizer. Yuta asserts the purity of their love. Rika's energy overwhelms Geto's maelstrom curse, causing extensive damage to the campus. Injured and missing his right arm, Geto admires the power granted by Rika. As Geto rests, he notices Gojo approaching. Concerned about the safety of his family, Geto learns they all escaped. Criticizing Gojo for sending Inu, Maki, and Panda to provoke Yuta, Geto questions their friendship and hands back Yuta's ID card. Gojo realizes Geto's involvement in the elementary school curse that consumed 2 children. When asked for last words, Geto confesses that, despite his disdain for humans, he never hated Jujutsu High students. He couldn't find authenticity as a Jujutsu sorcerer in the real world. Gojo speaks unheard words, leaving Geto shocked. Geto suggests Gojo hit him with curses at the end. As the camera pans back, Gojo stands up. Yuta wakes up to the presence of Maki, Panda, and Inu Maki. Concerned about their well-being, he observes Panda's unrecovered arms. Maki assures him that they are in better condition than he is, emphasizing Panda's ability to heal severed limbs. Expressing gratitude to Yuta for saving them, Panda's acknowledgement is interrupted by Rika's call to Yuta. Politely excusing himself, Yuta awkwardly details the sacrifice he made by using Rika's power. Maki reacts furiously, realizing that it implies Yuta's imminent death. Yuta realized he was the one who placed the curse on Rika, and he was able to break the curse and set her free before the discussion can progress. The curse dissipates, leaving the form of a 10-year-old Rika in the outfit she wore the day she died. Gojo returns, clapping his hands, and unveils his eyes without a blindfold. He discloses that he investigated Yuta's theory by examining Rika's and Yuta's family lineages. Surprisingly, Yuta is revealed to be a descendant of Sugawara Michizane, making him a distant relative of Satoru Gojo. While Yuta grapples with the implications, Maki explains that Michizane is one of Japan's 3 great apparitions, a sentiment echoed by Panda and Inu Maki in their unique ways. Gojo confirms Yuta's theory. Yuta didn't have a curse placed on him by Rika, rather, he placed the curse on her. At the age of 10, as Yuta pleaded, "Don't die," he inadvertently bonded a curse to Rika's soul. Gojo elaborates that, since the one who imposed the curse has now severed the bond, it can be fully broken, provided Rika doesn't seek revenge on Yuta. Yuta apologizes to Rika for cursing her and takes the blame for the harm caused thereafter, even during Geto's attack. Rika expresses gratitude to Yuta for giving her 6 more years by his side. She reveals that she found greater happiness as a curse than when alive and bids him farewell. Requesting that he not join her side too soon, Rika's spirit ascends, leaving Yuta to watch in contemplation. At a later time, with snow covering the landscape, Gojo assures Yuta that Geto would have attacked the school regardless of Yuta's presence and returns his ID. Expressing gratitude for finding it, Yuta learns that Gojo's best friend was the one who discovered it. Maki calls Yuta to catch up with their group. Wearing the ring on his finger, Yuta smiles and joins his friends. After the credit scene, we see Yuta sharing a meal with Miguel in an African city where Miguel introduces him to Roiko, a magical spice that enhances the taste of any dish, making it reminiscent of Kenyan cuisine. Miguel inquires about whether they really went home, and Yuta confirms. Miguel reacts positively to the news. Surprisingly, Gojo appears, greeting them with a casual, "Hey. Long time, no see," leaving Yuta surprised at his unexpected presence. Anyways, this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and smash that subscribe button.